Hey, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Monday, the 11th of November. Well, it was a profitable day if you followed the football as well. So it was, what was it in the end? £15 on, I believe, £21 at back. The horse racing was absolutely dreadful. If you watched the first one run, I picked it because it was one of the few with form, especially over hurdles. So I expected him to be prominent throughout and use his experience to maybe be a bit of a threat. That wasn't the case at all. It started 30 lengths behind and finished 30 lengths behind, never put in the race. The other three were absolutely dreadful. The last one it ran a very odd race. I thought actually that it was going to come into it, which it did, but then it just faded towards the end. So all I'm going to ask for this video is, if you just give me a like, I would really appreciate it. So I really appreciate the comments left on the previous video. Maybe I was on a bit of a downer this morning, but I appreciate the kind comments. So I'm going to tell you all about these horses. So as I said, if you can give this video, all I want is just a like, if you will, please, and I'm going to get into it. So I've placed the bet already. Normally I wait for the free bet, but I'm going to place the bet, and it won't be too long before I'm in bed. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Anyway, so the horse racing selections for Monday, the 11th of November, are as follows. So it's a fiver stake. It's a 14 pence each way, lucky 15. I've taken the prices, and it's a 40 pence each way accumulator just to top it up to a fiver. So the first selection is Hurley at 18 to 1 in the 230 at Carlisle, paying 4 places instead of 3. So this race is absolutely dreadful. I looked at the fancied horses and I thought they can get beat. But then as I worked my way down, the betting wise, I was like, well, what's going to beat them? But in my opinion, the first two in the betting currently, which are No More Diamonds and Stricter Tango, in my opinion, are both vulnerable. They both need to improve above what they've shown so far. However, there isn't a great deal of talent on show. I was looking at the Navigator, but I just can't have that either. I think they set too quick a pace at Kelso, but I still think the Navigator. Just give me a second, I shall tell you why. So I thought, oh, shall I have the Navigator? But I shall tell you why. I think the distance is too short for it. That's the reason why. I know it's a stiff course, but anyway, let me get on to Hurley. So this horse came from France. It's one of those horses that came across with a huge rating. So 2 years ago, it was running at Racing Post ratings of 128, 129. When it came to Donald McCain, and it ran at Bangor, and it came, well, it basically tailed off. It's been tailed off on virtually every single run that it's ran. But it started its handicap mark on 25th of March 2023 off a mark of 125. It had a wind operation 2 runs after it went to Donald McCain, and it's had 3 runs since. Admittedly, not doing a great deal. However, I find it quite interesting that it's going to be good ground tomorrow. Well, if it does struggle with its breathing, I would have thought the good ground may likely help it. It's been off a bit of a break. Last time it ran was the 12th of February 2024. That was at Catterick over 2 mile 3.5 furlong on heavy ground. First time cheap, he was tongue strap, and it was keen. So I'm thinking, so it made ground, and it says weak and quickly approaching last. I think it just blew up, and it's gone from, like I said, from 125 to an official rating of 104. So I think, in my opinion, when they want this horse to run better, it'll run better. As in, like, I think they'll have a very well handicapped horse on the hands. They have got a more fancy runner tomorrow, but to be fair, that means absolutely nothing. But it'll probably likely drift. It's 20 to 1 now that I've seen, but I do think Hurley has got a bit of a chance in what is a poor race. To be fair, it might look like a non-triad for the best part of the way around, but we'll see. It's small stakes. The second selection is Clare at 9 to 2 in the 340 at Carlisle. Well, there's no form all to go on in this race. With this horse, it's a National Hunt flat race. I am keeping an eye on the John Joe O'Neill stable, or what I will be doing after what I saw today. They are in pretty decent form. Well, in my opinion, John Joe O'Neill's stable's not done anything for about 3 years now. So it must have well handicapped horses. Well, forget the well handicapped because this was never ran before. But when I've seen him taken to Carlisle, I always thought he'd taken quite a few to Carlisle in the past. Well, it's currently, oh, I know why it is. So John Joe O'Neill, I was wondering why he had such a high strike rate and very few runners. It's now John Joe O'Neill and whoever it is. What's the, just give me a second. I've literally just remembered. So in the 340 it's Clare. So let me just tell you. So it's John Joe O'Neill, and he now trains with AJ O'Neill. I'm guessing it must be his son, I'm guessing it must be his son. So that's the reason why there is such a decent strike rate. So they've currently got a 20% strike rate with their horses at Carlisle. I haven't really gone for it for that reason, but it did stick with me because I thought that's a bit high, and they've not had many runners. But Eau Claire, it's first time on the course, National Hunt Flat Race. The favourite is called I've Made Up My Mind. Well, I tend to spend quite a lot of time looking at these National Hunt Flat Races, and to say it's favourite, I think the horse could be a big drifter. It's 15-8, but it's not shown. It's ran in some decent races. It's ran in Wincanton, Racing Post rating of 91. Then it ran at Sandown in it looks like a listed Mares National Hunt Flat Race. Not beaten far with a Racing Post rating of 95. And then it went to Cheltenham in April of 2024, only beaten six and a half lengths, but it only got a rating of 88. Well, that's not great. So, in my opinion, this horse is vulnerable. So I think Eau Claire, from a very powerful stable, John Joe O'Neill stable. John Joe O'Neill is actually riding the horse. There is a Dan Skelton newcomer called Get a Whiskey, which who knows? Who knows how good these horses are? But I do believe the favourite's vulnerable, and I think the John Joe O'Neill horse, it's in the Paul and Clare Rooney colours, and I think looking at it, it should have a chance. The third selection is Polling Day in the 4:15 at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. So I think this horse is very well handicapped now. It's most recently swapped from the Archie Watson stable and now is trained by Bernard Llewellyn. My concern is it's drawn 1, which isn't too bad. This horse should ideally be prominent. Hopefully the changing stable, even if it's just a different scenery the horse is experiencing, might change something about the horse where it might improve slightly. It's a poor race, and I was looking at a number of horses that are like Wolverhampton specialists, but there's so many question marks. And I did look at some of the horses, and they're actually drawn higher, and I've actually had to go off those. But Polling Day, I think, if it's prominent or just behind the leaders, it does stay a little bit further. I think it's got a chance. And the final selection, as you can see, is Sunscreen Delivered. That's in the 5:15 at Wolverhampton at 13-2. So I've gone for this horse because I think it's a poor race, but also it's Saffie Osborne only ride of the day. She had a newcomer for a dad the other day. This is another, I believe it's a newcomer, 2-year-old, trained by Jamie Osborne, again, ridden by Saffie Osborne. And I just think it's an interesting horse at 13. If it's got a chance, it'll be much shorter than 13-2. And I do find it very interesting the fact that they had a winner the other day. So more than likely, the betting market will tell you what kind of chance it's got. So those are the horse racing selections for Monday, the 11th of November. But as I said, if you can give me a like, I would really appreciate it. Fingers crossed. It's a dreadful day, and to be fair, I've not really explained the horses too well. It's 4 horses with a little bit of a chance. Keep stakes to an absolute minimum. Could I give you a nap? If I'm being honest, not really. No, I think they've all got little bits, little sneaks, but there's nothing really strong. They're all interesting horses. So I'm going to keep stakes to a minimum this week, ideally. I haven't looked at the racing too much, but I am really enjoying these Saturdays, having a little bit of a blast. It's proving quite fruitful at the moment, or it would have done 3 Saturdays ago. But anyway, I'm not going to waffle on now. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.